What if your enemy's biggest attack was their last hope? Late November 1944, Eastern France. A cold war room. Part tent, part wooden hut. Dim bulbs sway, casting light. The air smells like wet wool and burnt coffee. Maps and notes cover every surface. Officers huddle, talking strategy. They whisper about supplies and what's next. Outside, snow begins to fall. General George S. Patton stands by the main map. He's sharp, always ready. At 59, he looks like he's made of pure energy. His hands move as he talks. He traces the routes for his tanks to push into Germany. He's already planning to end the war by Christmas. His staff feels his urgency. In a quiet corner, a man unlike the fiery general. Colonel Oscar W. Koch, Patton's intelligence chief. He studies reports, intercepted messages and photos. His glasses are smudged. His voice is always calm. Most officers barely notice him. But today, he found something. He walks to Patton with his notes. When he speaks, all go quiet. What he says sounds impossible. Koch explains the Germans are moving troops. They're heading toward the Ardennes, a forest area with few U.S. troops. Several divisions seem to have vanished. Fuel, trains, roadwork, it all points to something big. The war seems almost over. Germany is failing. A big winter attack feels crazy. But Patton doesn't laugh. He listens. Koch shows him the patterns. Small details add up to one scary idea. Germany is planning one last attack to split the Allies. Koch can't be sure, but he says they have the ability. And that's enough. Patton considers the info. He likes action, but he's not ignoring reality. He asks Koch how sure he is. Koch is honest. Signs aren't clear, but they're dangerous. Patton doesn't wait. He tells his staff to plan for the Third Army to move north. They need to hit any German push in the Ardennes. Officers stare. Moving an army that size in winter, in days? Unthinkable. But Patton's order is final. They will prepare. As December begins, Koch keeps working. Prisoners mention new German units. Photos show supplies where the Allies thought it was quiet. Radio traffic increases in low-risk zones. Koch's unease grows to certainty. Germany is betting everything. High command still thinks an attack is unlikely. But Patton's team is secretly planning routes and supplies. Most officers think these plans won't be used. But time is running out for Koch's warning to become real. Before dawn, December 16, 1944. The Ardennes forest explodes. German shells hit American lines. Units are resting, recovering from fighting. Under fog and darkness, German troops surge forward. They break through. Communications are cut. Chaos hits the Allied front. Reports flood Supreme HQ. Fragmented, frantic, unbelievable. German tanks deepen their lines. Whole regiments overrun. Roads choked with retreating soldiers. For Allied command, the attack is a shock. Their previous estimates said Germany couldn't do this. But at Patton's HQ, there's no shock. Koch's analysis prepared them. Patton trusted it. Patton calls higher command. Others are stunned. He plans a counterattack. He'll swing his army north to hit the German advance. Allied leaders are doubtful. Moving such a large army in winter? Impossible. They ask Patton how soon he can move 3 divisions. He answers, 48 hours. Silence on the line. No one expects that. But Patton's staff already did the work weeks ago. Fuel, routes, orders ready. The army just needs the signal. As Patton's troops prepare, Koch refines his analysis. He tracks the German push, where they're going, where U.S. lines are weak. His maps show red arrows forming what becomes known as the Bulge. For the soldiers, the sudden move feels unreal. Many thought it was a quiet time. Hot meals, warm beds. Instead, orders come at night. Move out, head north. Soldiers cram into trucks. Engines struggle in the cold. Convoys crawl on icy roads. Tanks skid. Broken vehicles are pushed aside. Soldiers shiver, breath fogging in the dark. No one knows where they're going. Just that friends are in trouble. The march is hard but fast. In 3 days, Third Army moves over 100 miles. It's a rapid troop movement. They approach the German advance. Patton is ready to act on Koch's warning. They will strike hard. The German offensive creates a deep pocket in Allied lines. Towns fall. Units are trapped, but the attack faces resistance. A hammer is coming from the south. Germans don't know how fast Patton is arriving. The rescue of defenders in Bastogne is near. The analyst who saw the danger first keeps updating his predictions. He helps Patton know where the enemy is strong and weak. As Third Army moves north, the Ardennes situation worsens. Near Bastogne, U.S. troops are trapped. Low on ammo, fighting in the cold, they resist German pressure. Snow piles up. Medical supplies dwindle. Wounded lie outside. Every hour trapped feels like borrowed time. Patton knows breaking through to Bastogne is crucial. If the town falls, the German advance could spread. Morale could break. Koch's maps show the German control and thin supply lines, but they also show a weakness in the German flank. Patton plans to punch through before they can reinforce. The march to Bastogne continues in harsh winter. Vehicles slide, men collapse. Yet momentum doesn't stop. Soldiers feel dread and resolve. They're heading into the fight. Odds are grim, but others depend on them. Third Army's lead tanks reach Bastogne after Christmas. Fighting intensifies. Mines, ambushes, artillery slow them, but don't stop them. Crews keep tanks running despite the cold. Koch's maps show Germany's tight grip. They reveal thin supply lines and a weak spot. Patton plans to break through this southern flank fast. The push to Bastogne is on, in brutal winter. Tanks of the 4th Armored Division near Bastogne. Fighting ramps up at German defenses. Mines, ambushes, and artillery slow them, but not stop. Crews fight to keep tanks running in the cold. Soldiers push through deep snow, clearing enemy strongholds. Koch watches the situation closely. He analyzes prisoner intel, showing German forces are spread thin, out of fuel, and struggling with bad weather. He tells Patton the enemy is almost out of steam. If Patton's army can break through fast, the whole German attack could collapse. On December 26, 1944, the breakthrough happens. A small tank group reaches Bastogne's outskirts. They link up with tired paratroopers. This isn't the end of the fight, though. Tough battles continue for days, but the worst is over. The defenders won't be wiped out. Germany lost its momentum. All across Europe, news spreads. Patton's army did the impossible, turning and attacking faster than anyone thought possible. But back at Third Army HQ, Koch is back to his maps, tracking German retreats. He's not interested in fame or awards. He's just glad soldiers will live, because Patton believed his warning. The German offensive, meant to split Allied forces, starts to crumble. Counterattacks push back from all sides. The bulge in the lines shrinks daily. Hitler's big gamble turns into a huge loss of men, tanks, and fuel. Germany can't replace these losses. Patton's bold advance gets praised. But inside Third Army, officers know speed alone didn't save Bastogne. What made it possible was foresight, seeing the danger before it happened, and a commander trusting an intel officer with sharp insights. As January begins, the German offensive completely fades. The front stabilizes, and the Allies regain momentum, pushing into Germany. But those who lived through it remember how close disaster came, and how it was avoided. The lines solidify, the German attack collapses. The world focuses on Patton's rapid advance, Bastogne's relief, and the Bulge disappearing. Papers hail the daring general who moved faster than winter. Photos show tanks in the snow, troops struggling, and paratroopers holding their ground. But the man who first saw the danger, Colonel Oscar W. Koch, isn't in these pictures. He gives no interviews. He doesn't seek applause. He stays in his usual corner at 3rd Army HQ updating maps. To the public, he's invisible. After the war, historians call the Battle of the Bulge an intel failure. They wonder how the Allies missed the signs. Troop movements, radio chatter, supply buildup. Koch knows the truth. The info was there, in many reports. The failure wasn't collecting data. It was believing it. Most commanders couldn't imagine the Germans had the strength to attack. Patton was the exception. He believed the hard truth when it mattered most. After the war, Koch co-authors G2, Intelligence for Patton. It details his methods in those crucial weeks before the offensive. Some called him Patton's oracle, seeing the future. But Koch saw himself as a disciplined analyst. He looked at facts, ignored wishful thinking, and spoke plainly. Patton's legend grew after his death in 1945. His speeches, his will, his drive became legendary. Koch's post-war life was quieter. He wrote, taught, and reflected. He earned respect from Intel pros but remained unknown to the public. Yet, their connection in the Battle of the Bulge is vital. Patton's swift northern push wouldn't have happened without Koch's early warning. Koch's analysis meant nothing without a commander willing to act. Their partnership, one loud, aggressive, the other quiet, truthful, saved thousands. American soldiers walked out of the Ardennes alive. Their story goes beyond military strategy. It's a lesson on how groups, families, nations succeed or fail. In every team, some lead confidently, others spot subtle problems. Progress needs bold leaders, but also those who listen to quiet warnings. Koch knew the biggest threat is convincing yourself it can't hurt you. Patton knew a commander's strength is judgment, especially acting on info that challenges their goals. Thousands lived because one general listened to one analyst, when almost everyone else refused to see what was coming. Their story reminds us of responsibility, courage, and the impact of hearing truth before disaster. In the end, Patton's greatest achievement might not be his advances or battles. It could be that quiet moment, looking at intel reports, meeting a colonel's eyes, and saying, "I believe you. Let's get ready." Because he did, soldiers in the Ardennes had a chance to come home, build families, and live futures that might have been lost. His armored columns in battles won. He saw intelligence, met a colonel's eyes, and said, "I believe you. Let's get ready." Because of him, soldiers in the Ardennes had a shot at home, and futures that could have been lost.